Hello people, if you don't know me in the past, my name's Sam, Melbourne, Australia. It's nearly 3 o'clock PM down here for a rainy, cold weather outside, and I thought, yep, we had a nice pullback. Nice pullback is an opportunity, and you can see how Ethereum just bounced. I bought into that bounce for a short trade, not short, but a trade with high leverage, and I'm already in profit. I did not sell my long-term portfolio for Ethereum because I'm going long, still going long, and too much work to keep selling back and forth. I think Ethereum will go towards 4,000, but let's look at Ethereum pairing and it will give me an idea on what that's doing. I'll wait for a minute or two and then get started. I'll go through Bitcoin, we'll go through Ethereum, short term, and look at the macro and the big term and see how we're traveling. Sorry about the cough, but I can't get rid of it. It's one of those things might take a while. And then I'm going to do a short list of coins that I've picked out or colleagues have picked out, a part of a community that I'll look at, and I'll bring them up and see how they're traveling and pretty much articulate what we're looking for. So my daily scan will be based on trends. None of the sidewards moving, ranging crypto, but trends that are upwards or trends that are downwards. And the other one is breakout trades and cradle trades. So 3 strategies they'll be using. I'm not going to explain in detail what they are. That's for you to learn it from someone else or come onto my course and learn it from me. Either way, I'm just giving you the high level stuff. I learned these 3 strategies from someone else. I paid for it, and using my experience with the other strategies that I've discovered, I think I'm a competent trader. Some of it is self-taught, and a lot of it makes sense. But you need the fundamentals, and the fundamentals are, for those who haven't done it or don't know the fundamentals, I'll give you the list. This is the list of what you should know. You should understand the language, first of all, and you should understand candlesticks and what they mean and how you use them for trading. They are significant. You need to understand support and resistance levels, which I covered yesterday in the live stream. Trends, not complicated. I've covered that also in a live stream in the past, last week. Moving averages, very important. Moving averages, Fibonacci, divergence and convergence. These are very important elements to a trade. And then indicators, where indicators could be your choice of indicators. Just be good at it, understand it, and be good at it. So that's what I recommend for you to learn. There's plenty of material on the internet, and that's what I want to put forward. Now let's look at Bitcoin. So we're starting Bitcoin, and I'm hoping people can hear me clearly. I've got a bit of music in the background, just makes it a bit interesting for me. Bitcoin has played out a fair bit of sideways trading, really, in the last month or so, even though within that macro sideways movement, there is trends within it. So you can find trends within the 4 hour, or you can find trends within the minute. It's really up to you what you want to trade. And I'm sticking to the bigger picture. Now I'm looking at the big picture in terms of 4 hour to daily. And if I was to look at Bitcoin right now, I have hinted in the past that this is a bump and run setup, and this black line pretty much represents it. That is the leading trend line. This here, not that one there, this one here is a neckline for the bump and run as well. This one here is a neckline, which funny enough looks like an inverted head and shoulders as well, doesn't it? So price come down in an ABC formation. I believe this is the pullback area. A moderate, you can call it moderate, not deep, because it didn't go too deep, and it didn't break the weekly trend. But it did break the daily trend, which means that it dropped below this one here. So we did lose the daily trend, but in a way you can argue that that could be the daily trend as well, the lower, higher low, and then we got the next one. So can I argue about it? I think we did drop it based on that, but we recovered so far. Looking at the chart in general, price, so this blue line is the height from the bottom to the neckline of the bump and run or the inverted head and shoulders, and therefore that's the target. And you can see a lot of confluence with price. I'll make sure I get it right with the color. You got a lot of, let me just put that there. You got resistance, 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 and then a breakout. Right? Even had a little retest right there, ever so slight. Then we had, on the way down, it became evident that this line is important. And then we had resistance, resistance, and we had this bear flag, and we dropped. Found support, reversal pattern, came to, we have a bit of a fake out, pulled back, found support on that trend line, which is the throwback support line, and up we went. So we had this nice bounce. Do you think it's going to go down like that? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a strong support area, and it should be because we had it all along there. And so price should potentially just keep going and find support and keep going. While it does all that, you would expect the alt to keep going strong as well. So that is my bullish look at this point. And do you have a, what is it? Do you have to be a pro to trade B? No, you don't. But you do need to understand, or you can use other people like me who give tips away and understand what we're saying and then take it on board. Or you pay for signals. You don't have to be a pro. But what you've got to do is find out the rubbish from the good. Hopefully I'm not the rubbish. So that's my bullish stance. Now, as a trader, I am flexible. Just because I said that, it doesn't mean I'm going to be right. And if I see something go wrong, I will change my plan with a click of a finger. I don't care. I am flexible. As a trader, you've got to be flexible. You do not. But you can't be rigid in your thoughts. You got to go with what the chart tells you. Unemotional. It doesn't matter what it does, up or down, there's opportunities. Look for opportunities all the time. I am bullish in the terms of holding my crypto, going long, until the weekly is broken. The weekly trend hasn't been broken, and I've discussed that in the past. You can look at look at it today, but this is where I'm at, and this is what these Fibonacci levels make sense to me. So that is Bitcoin. So let me just clean it up because I like my charts to stay clean. Okay, and within all that, there is opportunities. There is so much you can do. Now, if I was to look at this, and if I go to the lower time frames, for newbies, you need to understand fundamentals and also trend lines. So, to me, this trend line, this was a trend line. Hold on, give me a sec while I fix that up. So if we'll ever look close, ever so close, let me get rid of that. I'm stuck with that tool there, so I better get rid of that. It's not working for me, is it? I want to get rid of this black line. Okay, here we go. So the trend line, and you just draw the lines. It really doesn't matter. I had this trend line there, a micro trend line, but nevertheless, and you can say that is there. And I did have a bearish divergence here. And the indicator shows that, and I'll get to it. But what is important is I had these Fibonacci levels, red lines, and they played their part in this. And when price broke this black line, you can see the retest at that level, and price dropped. Now it's finding this next Fibonacci, this red line, as resistance, and I must have got it from somewhere before. And either way, it's where it's at now. So I didn't place these lines. I had these lines already mapped out, and they're playing their role. You can see this moving average acting as resistance, and I think that's why this area is going to be a bit of a tussle, a bit of a fight, and potentially an upward motion, then back down again, based on resistance. So that here is clearly the resistance, that one there. So price is probably likely to go back down, retest, maybe 5 bounces. Usually it's 5, and then it either goes down or it goes up. And I'm betting that's going to go up. Okay. If this was to go down, then we have the other levels to look at. And we've got this moving average coming across. So that could be the next level if it was to drop down. And we assess it when to go in. Okay, that is my Bitcoin. Now let's go to Ethereum. Okay, Ethereum's doing well. By the dip, that was the dip. And if you look at Ethereum, that's a micro, that is a 5-minute chart, by the way. So the 5-minute chart even tells you a fair bit, and the rules still apply. Trend line. Let's get that writing out. Okay, yep, got that. So that was our reference point. So we've got 2 points, and then the third one makes sense. So 3 touches becomes a trend line. So less than 2 is not confirmed, 3 is confirmed, and therefore price comes down and goes back up, and then fails. And you can see that's clear. There's a shorting opportunity there. And if you was watching it in the small time frame, you've got it. This is a spillover that is really bullish from this channel. So what tends to happen with ascending wedges, you can drop that way, or you have this extra boost and then dump. So this scenario is well known for ascending wedges. Sometimes it finds support and then continues on. And this is what Ethereum did on the macro level. But on this micro level, it failed. And now it's regaining this level. this trend line. So I got this trend line there, the bottom. It lost it and it's regained. So it might just keep going. That's my thoughts on Ethereum, and still bullish. And what happens is when it drops, it tries to go back where it was before. Now let's look at why it dropped. So to find out why it dropped, I need to look at it from a different perspective. And I got my notes here. So what I'm going to do is go to the daily chart. Actually, go for the weekly. Weekly will be good. So what does it do on the weekly? So we're looking at Ethereum on the weekly. That's a shameful dip. It's a natural dip. Get used to it. This is crypto, and that's where you make your money, with the dips. If you know how to trade it. So you can see actually, see the orange line? It's pretty much acting as support, isn't it? And that's, I'm guessing that's the weekly 10 moving average. Beautiful. So much like Bitcoin, it's doing the same. The weekly 10 is acting as support on the weekly chart. However, I don't like all these, my lines on the weekly. Give me a sec. That one I don't need. And I don't need that. Obviously, I've made some drawings in the past. That was a trend line for the daily. Don't know what that is. Fibonacci. Okay. So you can see the pressure is coming from this, close to 10 moving average, and it hasn't touched it lately because it's been very bullish. And you can see even on the weekly, if you want to trade weekly, beautiful. You can see this is a weekly resistance level, and once it broke past that, you can see the weekly where that's support. Actually, the wicks touch it. You can see clearly the wicks were touching the weekly resistance line. And if you know my method, you put your lines, your weekly lines, in to see how it's relevant later on. So this is an ascending triangle, pretty much on the weekly, and its target should be the height, and I think we got it. Yeah. So if that was a height, we get that, add it to it, and it's done more than that. So this one would have been its initial target, and we overperformed. So when it hit this initial target, it dropped back. You can see that, right? When we hit there, the candlestick pulled back and it found support. So nice. Even the weekly is relatively straight to trade. And you can see my ascending wedge, when we broke above the wedge, it became support and we moved to the upside. And that was the bear market, as you can see, with a pitchfork. And I won't go into that. Now, let's look at the MACD on this Ethereum. No, I didn't want to do that. All right, let's add the RSI to it. You can see how this one actually turned around on the weekly, the wave trend. So this indicator is showing us that there is a bullish momentum, and the MACD is probably doing the same as well. So Ethereum on the weekly is looking really great. No, and no kidding, you can see it. The price pretty much reflecting that, right? Yeah, you can see Ethereum on the weekly, it doesn't look like it's going to slow down here at all. It's very upward And you can see these are histograms. Histograms represent the distance between the signal and the MACD line, and they're getting wider and wider apart. So momentum is definitely, it's got much more to do on the weekly, and hence 4,000 is not unusual. Now, what I want to do is look at why did we get that pullback. So let's just pull out some fib levels. And I'll see if I can work it out. My 618. Oh, it disappeared. No, put the weekly. Cool. Let's see what's happening on the weekly with the MACD. This fib level, I've pretty much customized it to capture all the golden ratios. So 6.618, 1.618, 2.618, all the way. I just use it. And you can see the confluence. It's pretty clear there. It's been working well, hasn't it? I just fluked that. I just drew those lines, and you can see how relevant they are. So there was resistance right on that level, on the 618. And then we had resistance, slight resistance on the 718, and now the 8618. And therefore, the next one will be 3,690, and then 4,445. So my guess is it's these golden ratio levels are going to be respected as it goes up. Obviously, there'll be resistance. We don't know which one is going to be the culprit. There is no way of knowing where the top is going to be. No one can tell you that. All you can do is go level by level. And I would use the golden ratio level as a guide. Hopefully that makes sense. Those who don't know Fibonacci, learn your Fibonacci and understand what golden ratio is. I can't give you that tutorial here, but that's my opinion with why we got the pullback just recently, because we hit that golden ratio level. It slightly overperformed and it pulled back underneath it. So now let me just see what, yep, it's the daily's there. So what I'm going to do is go to the daily chart, and we should see the golden ratio in there as well. So now on the daily, you can see that wick, bottom wick. And so you can see my channel, and it played a role. This channel played a role. I don't know when I put it there, but I had it there somewhere. And all that action in between. So it's, let's do that clear, much better. Let's just get rid of that. And I don't need these ones, do I? I don't need these. Was that the chat? Yeah, was that the target? Yeah, so that was the target, one target. So I got my initial targets, and that was the 2.618, which is about 3,133. So that's no longer relevant. Now let's see how we're going here. Bottom of the channel. Yep. I'm going to draw my channel. So that was part of the channel. Actually, let's do that. That's probably better without the log settings. So price was testing this top level. and get rid of that. And you can see that channel was playing a role up to a point. It did poke its head out a bit and then pulled back down. And then I think if I was to look at the 4 hour, didn't quite draw that right. I need to include those tops on a shorter period. There we go. Just slightly adjusting. And you can see that's a better draw because now I've got that top, and that top all matching up, and I've got the bottoms all lined up to this point here. So that was a channel that we were in, and then we broke it. So we found resistance here, and when we broke it, it was retested a fair bit. This part was retesting this top layer, and then when it passed, you can see the acceleration. Totally normie. Oh, g'day. Totally normie. And so we've covered two aspects to it now. And if we look at price now on the 4 hour, that drop is almost, so we've got another 2 hours for this, no, 3 hours actually, for this candle to close. And then we'll have an understanding of what's going to happen. At the moment, there is a battle there, and 3,430 roughly is the resistance. If this candle closes, it's very hard to say which way it's going to go. I think it's just going to go sideways for the next 4 hours until we understand if this is an engulfing candle. If it engulfs it, then it's going to have momentum to keep going up. And if it falls halfway or less, then it's likely to keep going sideways or down. So we need to look at the next 4 to 8 hours. And I can't make a call because we already reached one of the targets. Now the question is, how much of a pullback is it going to do? We don't. So this black line could be the retest. So if we look at that, I should get rid of all that. Cool. And one more. Just get it out the way. So on the way up, we had this section here, which was a bull flag. And so price almost came down to that. Actually, let's look on the 4 hour, probably the 1 hour. So you can see how price on the way, it found resistance here, and then price found it as support. It's going to be interesting if this is going to hold it up. I have a feeling it's going to be some bullish continuation pattern. It's going to be a bigger structure, could be a reversal. But thinking that Bitcoin's going to go up, I can't see how this is going to go down with my bullish stance. So, yeah, I would say if price came down to this level for Ethereum, if it does it again, that's your buy zone. That's my thinking. I have a gut feeling that this is going to, or a wedge potentially, could be that, but I think it's a continuation pattern that's coming, and therefore my buy zone is that. So I bought that dip. Now I better think about selling, because actually it's a good point. Give a sec. Let's pull out the Fibonacci, yeah? So let's get those lines removed. hindrance. So let's see the swing high, swing low. That was my swing low to my swing high. So it's just got to the 236. I'm gonna think this is going to struggle past that. Yep. If you could see this level was to do the macro, where it tested the top. So this is my reference point. This area is the 0.5, maybe even to the 0.618. But I think it's a bit bullish, so yeah, I'll leave it there where it was. It makes sense. Right there between the 0.382 and the 0.5 fib level is the buy zone. It's got confluence with that impulse 618. Let's see how that goes. That's my Ethereum. Hopefully I haven't missed out on anything on that. Hopefully it gives you some understanding what's happening. And this was a good spot here as well. Always look for bullish patterns. And when price came up like this, look at the trend. Double bottom, up. Up. Pretty much. So this is a double bottom here and another double bottom here. So perfect entry points along this support line. That was a good area to enter if you didn't enter. And that was obviously a rejection because it was close to the top. Well, the chart makes sense. I should have done that. All right. Now what we do is look through a few charts. Okay, what do I have? I have ADA on my thing, radar. What happened there? No, that wasn't it. That was me recording. I think I was going to do a post on ADA. All right, this is my ADA chart. And you can see he had a fantastic run. And there was many opportunities within there. There was a few deep pullbacks actually in that area, but you can see along the way there was a lot of opportunities to jump back in. So that was very deep, that pullback there. So it's pulled back into the daily 10, 20, and 200 moving average. Well, that's probably the full, yeah. So these wicks were really nasty. So ADA has a habit of dropping down hard. And you can see historically that's what it did. And then it came to this plateau. And this was a key level for me. Because as it comes up, so if price is coming up and then finds a resistance, you make a note of that. Yeah, it stops there for a reason. So when price comes down and passes it, it becomes your support. Initially, this one dropped below, but never mind. And this was the only time it got really tested. Maybe this one sort of fell short a bit, but that was the one that supported it. And then when price hit its second time high, you got double tops there. You got your third one there. So we're in this crazy structure that ADA's trying to break through. And if I get rid of the moving averages and I actually get rid of that too, just clean the chart up a bit. Let's see, I don't want this one to influence me at what I'm looking at. So my blue line makes sense because of these pivot points. Too many touches to ignore. And it's playing resistance at the moment. So when you look at that storyline, you can understand why it's struggling to get past it. It was a major support, and this drop, A, B, C, stuffed everything up. It wrecked that up. I was actually bullish up to that point. Once it dropped, I think I got rid of it against Ethereum. I was expecting ADA to go up, and it tried many times, I think twice, and it just failed miserably. So just because ADA did well historically doesn't mean it's going to keep doing what it's doing. It's one of those ones that you can't trust at the moment, pretty much like a dot. And you can see how this blue line is still relevant. So how would you trade this? I got the weekly resistance. So the weekly resistance is worked out by the weekly chart. Yeah. So I put my weekly resistance line based on the candlesticks of the body. Yeah, these top levels. We can get rid of those. You can see on the weekly how much resistance ADA has. Look at those wicks above on the weekly. It's a lot. So I would say to go along with ADA, we need to break this weekly resistance of $1.31. Currently slightly above it, actually. If you look at that, currently slightly above it. It's wick down, but it's holding. If it holds it for a week, that's a good sign. Am I bullish on ADA? I believe it's going to keep going up, but I'm not going to jump in until I see certain things happen. So I think ADA is one of those ones that will come from behind, but it's not going to do this. Could, but that move is significant, and you can see again my golden ratio. There you go. That's why we're having a lot of resistance. Yeah, that's holding it back. So if I extend this golden ratio, so that's the 3618. I'll do the 4618, and I'll load the 5618, and I'll put the pricing in it. Yep, all right. If ADA's to break this, I could see flying a lot because it's taken. Let's see how long it's taken. Oh, I don't have to count with this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 candles, 11 weekly candles. It's been going sideways. So if ADA breaks this, it's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy as Ethereum. Who knows? But let me look at the ADA Ethereum chart. So if ADA breaks it in the next week, and I'll look at this weekly chart. So if this falls down, so if this stays here, which is, it can, because we've got this level here. So if this stays here for the week, that could be a reversal against Ethereum. And it might be where I flip my Ethereum to ADA. I'm going to keep an eye on this. We need to keep an eye on that support level. And let's see, in terms of Fibonacci, what that is. So 2360. So it's way low. Anything below that it's going to plummet hard. So if you got ADA now, I will be sweating. Because you got to make up your mind, are you going to go with Ethereum or ADA? And with this, I can see that it's the bottom is slightly turning around on the weekly. So it might want to start moving up. Bullish divergence. Well, let's see if there is one on the daily coming. Not yet. But I think looking from this grey to this grey, if if we get a few green candles, so what ADA can do pretty much against Ethereum is range here and then pretty much go out, and we need to see it. If I see something like that, where I see a reversal pattern coming around or whatever it is, then I'll consider flipping some Ethereum to ADA. And if you want to know the targets for ADA, if it was a breakout, it's Fibonacci. One by one, they'll be knocked down. So the next, so if ADA was to break this, the next one is $1.66, and then $1.80. I remember thinking of $1.80 somewhere. Or is it $4? No, not that one. $4.60. Okay. So I'll use the major levels is $1.66, and the next one is $2.02. $2 is a psychological number, and yeah. So if ADA was to break that, I see it going up to $2, $1.80 to $2 initially, and then if it's still alt season, just copy my chart and just 6.618, and then 7.618. Just put those numbers there. Then $2.37, and then $2.73. These are all the key levels that we're going to look for if this breaks up. It needs to close above this weekly resistance of $1.31. So now let's look on the daily. How are we doing on the daily? So you can see what's happening right now, really. Can you see what I'm saying? We have this resistance and we have this support. So it's getting squashed, which is good. And the fact that this week and went back up is pretty good. And currently we're right there. We don't want to see at a close below this on the daily. If it closes below on the daily, we're going to come back down to this level. If it closes on the daily. So watch towards the daily takes another 18 hours. So we close greenish, bullish. This red one is just a recent dip, and it's trying to recover. And I think it will. So how's it going to break this? We've got to see on a small time frame a bullish pattern coming into play. So let's look at that. And if I use my imagination at this point, let's look at that. That is our support level there. So that could be a formation that can break out of. Yeah. So if it breaks out of this, it might be enough to spring past this. What we want to see is a decisive break. So if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then if we break it decisively, hit that daily resistance, and then we might find support, and then continue on. And once we break this level, this daily resistance, then we got this target, that double top. Yeah, but that's done. Yeah, that'll be knocked back, that daily resistance. So that's the scenario I'm playing. What happens if it doesn't close around the weekly resistance? It will just, so if it closes, it will be another week of sideways. It will keep dropping. It won't. If the weekly closes below it, it's likely to go back into the middle range of this structure. What happens is there's a lot of big time traders, and they look for the weekly. Weekly really gives them an indication on what's going on, and the weekly levels is what they will look for. So it's pretty much like a bullish closure. If the weekly closes bullish, that gives them confidence. That's the signal to jump in, and that's where the big money flows in anyway. So weekly charts are pretty important. Therefore, that's why I use the weekly candlesticks and find the body, using the body to find support and resistance. Anyway, that's my spin on ADA, my TA, and I'm not going to do that for the rest. Okay, I thought I'll do ADA and the ADA Ethereum pairing. Okay, AVAX done a good bounce on the 5 minutes. So all four sort of dropped into the cradle, didn't they? So this one, let's see, BNB. I'll do BNB on the BNB chart. How's that for you? So BNB just finished this big structure. You can argue where that structure finishes, and you can see I've drawn this. This was my pivot point, point E. So I had this A, B, C, D, E. E was my pivot point perfectly there. So it was a wick, and now it's following this trend. So if I use this structure's height, BNB has still got a bit more to go. 754 or 750. So that's the target for this structure. Yep, that's my target. Now, what happens after that? Let's look back. So you can see I've been really following BNB and trading it extensively. On the right is my BNB pairing. So it did a nice deep pullback and found support on this moving average, which is previous. Actually, you can see here that acts like support. That's why these ones that initially got from a real acceleration uptrend, where it stops is usually a good reference point for future support. So you find resistance there, you find support there. It's a good method. Just pick it up by watching other people's demonstration. And so it bounced pretty good, and it's likely to hold that level against Bitcoin. So, and I can see that here, this is it's a 30-minute chart. It's not going to help me much. Let's go to 4-hour. Beautiful chart, 4-hour. Look at that. One that's competing against Ethereum. That was our clear resistance becoming support. That became the breakout trade, and I'll get the right time frame. So let me just add the right template. And it's not the 4-hour actually. Just make it a bit darker. So it looks like the 8-hour is the good one for the pairing. Yep, 8-hour. So I would wait for this to pull back. If I was looking for an entry, I would use that top part as a reference against the pairing. And if it pulls back, but I think it's not going to do that for a while. I think it's going to keep going up with the pairing. Although we are starting to see a bit of a, actually it's turning up. Yeah, a bit of a bearish divergence kicking in. You see that? It broke, it's trying to break that. So also be careful. I will put that trend line in place and use that as a means If it breaks that, I'll use that to go back to Bitcoin. Okay, because we can see the bearish divergence, and this is all-time high. This actually just peaked its head above this level, didn't it? Using the body, and if we use the wicks, it does look like it's done its top. So very be careful. If this keeps, so we have a bearish divergence on the pairing, and I'm mindful of it. Even here, yeah. So if this crosses, if these great, yeah, if my indicator crosses over, even here it shows you on this indicate this level. You got to watch that as well. So if it drops below that, time to get out from BNB and have it into Bitcoin. But you can see there's still a bit of time to go. I think this is going to keep going. I can get rid of that now. I just don't need that. And the 4 hour is good for against the US dollar. So this, we have another 2.5 hours to work out if this is bullish or not. So I'm not going to enter a trade. If I got the bottom, great. I didn't get the bottom. I was focused on Ethereum actually. And so that's the bottom there. If this closes slightly a bit more, that's a green signal to jump in. Although this looks like there is bearish divergence in the making. So it's not the best setup, even though you might want to retest this level. Has it done a test? Done one test. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Maybe I'd probably ignore the MACD at the moment. Is it an 8-hour chart? Yeah, 8 hour makes me happy. Yep, 8-hour chart's more appropriate. If I was to hide all this, you can see how the 8-hour trend, moving averages, is acting as support. And now you can see the MACD still convergent. So I would look for on the 8-hour that level as my entry if it pulls back, and the green candle on this entry. So I do expect a bit of a pullback. How much more? It hasn't got much more to go, but I do expect that's. I'm not going to expect anything. If it does pull back, that's my entry point. Okay, now let me check my chart. What I want to do. Give me a sec, guys. Alrighty, so what I'll do is didn't want that. I was looking at Sora. That's not bad, is it? Sora is the company that's looking at Thailand's financial solutions using crypto. So I was thinking, I missed that. Look at that, beautiful. It was like, what is it? Back last year. Look at that level. It was yeah, $70, $80 now, and went up to $900. So that was a good move. These guys saw it. Got to keep an eye on them. Waves for chain. All right. Let's RUNE. Okay. You see my lines. I've been keeping an eye on the run. It's actually probably close to recovering that level. Not sure. It's found support here. found support there actually. That didn't happen. Where am I? Yeah, I think it's turning around really. So this trend line was an initial, and you can see how it's acting as resistance. It's still acting as resistance. We want to see it regain that spot. But any pullbacks like this with a bullish structure is worth trading. But anyway, I can't say anything about this at the moment. It's a bit confusing, not easy. There is a trend, and if we look on the 12-hour, yeah, it's not that clear, is it? It's not a clear trend. No, it's not. I can't trade that. So I can only trade it based on structure. And so if I was to pull that line there and ignore the wicks and just use the body, it's actually recovered. So if it closes above that in the next 4 hours, 8 hours, it's turning back to being bullish. It's regaining, which is surprising. Okay. Sol. Let's have a look at Sol. I think that's what Ethereum's doing. Similar. This is Sol against BTC. And it looks good. Like I said, the MACD signal and the signal coming closer together. So it could potentially just, so I would trade this as a breakout. Trade this as a breakout for Bitcoin pairing. So if I was to look at Sol against US dollar, not so good. See on that dotted line, I don't know where I got that from. Okay, so it's acting as support. I wouldn't rely on that line too much, but it is acting as resistance, support. Yeah, so that line is pretty good, and it found support again. But yeah, I'd like to see Sol do more than that. So we know that's support. So far, we know that's resistance. So that might be the bottom. That might be a significant resistance level based on this. So yeah, I'm not interested in trading that. No clear direction. It could go sideways for a while. Maybe in a small time frame, but yeah, on those little bounces. Theta, I was hoping Theta will do something, and it stuck me up. There you go. I was looking at this yesterday, and I go, surprising it broke that level. You know, that was resistance there, along here. You know, it was a bit of resistance, and it broke it yesterday. And what it do? Bit of a fake out, really. Bloody thing. I'm just not going to touch Theta anymore. So I'm looking at Theta to break that level. I want to see it break that. It did break it, but it bastard pulled back in, didn't it? So as far as I'm concerned, that is deceptive. I got stopped out. So I took the trade and I got stopped out. I don't know if I lost money or not, but I was disciplined enough to raise my stop loss. But that was the case. it is a big macro, potentially bull flag. So if you look at the other one, you look at it, it's sort of sideways. This one is downwards, so this one has a potential of being really big. Because the more deeper it pulls, the more likely it can go up higher. Anyway, so that was my first target based on the initial structure, and that stuffed me up. Where did I get that from? Yeah, that's from the structure's height. So if we have a breakout, yeah, that makes sense. 618. If was the breakout, that's my target there. And I already did it once there before. Look at that. Oh, where did I get that from? Oh, that's the pole. Okay, true. Yep, that's here's resistance, like many of them. Harmony. No, you're supposed to go. That was going good. What's that level? Back to accumulation. ONT. Nah, I should have shorted that one. Missed that. Maker's been going well. It's the wrong time frame. So what we want to do is see. So Maker is very, very nice because the trend's nice. We have high highs and high lows along the way, and it's regained this trend. So the fact that it's got a high and a nice pullback, and then another high, another pullback, it's working out to be a nice flow. So yeah, I wouldn't be interested until it pulls back. So I will put this on my watch list. So based on the methodology of trend, I'll put this on my watch list. And I'll be only interested if it comes down pretty much to this level. So if this comes down to this level, while this moving average keeps going up, then that'll be my spot. Otherwise, yeah, I'll stay away from it. I'm just waiting for the pullback. It did that pullback. Now, if that was the one, well, it's stuffed me up because it's not going to pull back anymore, is it? All right, where's my dot? As requested, I'm also loaded up on dot as I saw something bullish a few days ago. Let's see what dot's doing. Okay, so I was bullish for dot for a number of reasons, and I'm still am. And you can see how I've marked it. I don't know if I must have discussed this in the past. So my red lines, all these red circles are pretty much pivot points where it was resistance and support. And as far as I'm concerned, it's retesting this level, this trend line. So it's touched it once, touched it twice. And what it could potentially do, a parallel channel. So it can keep going like that, maybe until the point where it finds support, and then up. I'm bullish on the dot, and it's got a good potential to go to the upside in a big way, doesn't it? So based on this structure, and you can see already placing my targets based on fib extensions and so on. So ultimately, if this really gets going, 70 cents, or sorry, $70. That could be the third target on the 1.618 golden ratio. So that is, so I've entered here now, and my stop loss will pretty much be all the way down here, actually. So I didn't put it yet. So that's a level. And to be safe, I'll put it under these buggers. So my stop loss will be under these. In case it wicks down and I'm out of range and it just continues on. So my stop loss will be under that. Which is about $32, just under $33. Because there's no trend, it's not easy to work it out. What's going for it, you see these moving averages. We have this was a bearish moving average cross, and now we have the converging as support. So let's look, that's the 80 hour. Let's look at the daily. And is this going to help me? No. What I want to do is add my template. So looking at MACD to pretty much go above. Definitely still a bit of downward pressure on the daily. I can see that. So there is a bit of bearish downward pressure. The fact that they crossed. However, it could be very light because I don't see this grey section going below 50%. So it could be very shallow bearish pressure, downward pressure on the daily. And if I was to look at the 12 hourly, the same. I don't see a strong downward pressure. Just for the way things are turning out, this could this could be very bullish. Looking at this chart, I got the MACD crossing over here, and it's gone above zero. So all signs are good so far. Full stop. Okay, let's look at a few short lists that I had. I'm going to just go through them quickly and then wrap this up. So what do we have? Okay. I would like to see that broken. I might use that as a scenario to go long. So what we have, price coming down, finding support, and not being able to hold it, and then trying to hold it here, and then dropping. Now, price has gone back up. As it passed this initial resistance, you can see there, it breaks it and doesn't retest it. Then finds this level as resistance, and then breaks it. So now, we've established support back to this level here. So we've got this support. So we've got a higher, lower high. Sorry, higher low, another higher low. This is looks like it's going to hold, and then going up. I like that. So I would look for potential entry there. And based on the structure, this could go very quick, and you can see how it's done it with the other wicks. So this could go crazy very quickly. What I'll do is I'm going to just ever so slightly pick another trend line and mark it as an alert as it approaches. Okay, so I like that one. I might just save that. It's like a big reversal structure, or big descending wedge. And if I was to count this, that is my A, that is my B. Alright, that is my C, that is my D. That could be my E. E could be anywhere. That could be my E, or that could be my E. That level there. Yeah, so that is the good place to buy. And then that will be either that level as the first target, that will be the second target, and then pull back. But that's a big move. I'll show that. Yes. Yeah. I'm streaming, yeah.
I'll grab your monitor.
Which one?
Underneath your desk.
Oh, you want to grab that?
Yeah. Not using it.
No, you want to grab it?
Yeah, I'm going to.
My son's got a new PlayStation, now he wants to grab the monitor. He can't wait. Right, go. Just make sure you don't hit that.
Does it have a HDMI cable?
No.
It doesn't.
Oh, I think so. It's an old monitor.
How old is this monitor? Like 2010?
6, 7 years old, really.
It should have HDMI anyway.
Well, you find it.
Can you see it?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. That's an adapter.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Close that door. Fire up. Okay. All right. Let me look at some of the comments. It seems like one person is making most of the comments. Totally normie. Okay. Normie. Can't be an Australian, can you? Normie, British? Not American. Normie. Anyway. Can you do vets? All right. Got a vet request. We've done that, huh? We've done dot. Vets. And yeah, PS5. Yeah. And he got a PS. No, he got a 5. He's got the 5. He works, and he's invested. He's a young man, and he bought crypto. No joke, and he bought Bitcoin when I started with his birthday money. So he's loaded up. He didn't sell with his birthday money back then. So he's got over Bitcoin, that's for sure. He used to have 4 Bitcoins, and he got me to sell them. So he's regretting that, but he's got more than 1 Bitcoin now. Dodge money, PS5. Yeah. Can you take a look at Atom? Weekly structure looks like Atom. Okay. So I got vets, and I got Atom. All right. Let's have a look. I think I had Atom. No, I closed it. All right. So actually, I know I got Atom mapped out. Okay, so it's regained that level, hasn't it? So based on my fib levels here, okay, so I can see where the potential resistance levels are on the way up. This was a line that I was thinking of, but now it's developed into that line. This line here, not relevant, only for the local spot. So it pulled back to the 618, didn't it? So from this, it's found support on the 618. So what I'll be looking at, I've seen support and then found the low, and now I'm going to look for support here. It needs to hold this level. Is it likely to hold this level? Well, it's already, yeah, it's likely to hold the level. So this will be my, so what is it, 4 hours? So it's been there for a while. Let's look closer. So we got the 1, 2. Yeah, I think it's going to be right. And then I would trade the breakout personally. I wouldn't do the accumulation. I just don't trust it. So I would look for the breakout. Now the breakout could be, so that's going to be resistance, right? So I have confluence there, and I have that pivot point there, and I have that pivot point there. So yeah, that line's justified. That black line I would use as a breakout trade, and the targets is pretty much clear. Previous all-time high is the first level of rejection. In terms of, so it's yeah, it did add a thing, didn't it? You're right. So, and you know, my blue line on adder is pretty much this line here, but this one's regained it. Yeah, very good. Good eye. Like that, you picked it up. I agree. So I would look for this level to break. Is there a horizontal level? Well, it's the same, really. So that one was, and it's fallen below that. Okay. I see that level. Is it holding it? Yes, it is. It's holding it. So that will be my midterm line level. So it might, in the next days or two, so it's fill this position. Now it's the second quadrant or the second half, and then potentially break out, because that there is a lot of confluence that this line is very strong resistance, and it's holding it up. So I would look at that as a means for trading. Yeah, it looks positive, and no, hold on, that's Ava. Sorry guys, that's Ava. I thought it was Adam. That's another one. So where's my Adam? There we go. That's the trend line, and it's holding retest. Looks good. That was my bottom line, bottom trend line, which makes sense. This is no longer relevant anymore. So this was still relevant. So that's the support zone. I would buy on that zone. Every time it touches, I'll buy it. It showed historically that it's been there for so long as a resistance, and once it broke it decisively, so we had this, you can say pretty much formation, and once it broke it decisively, and now it's finding its support. It won't be long before it breaks up to the upside. So this might be the last one, actually, last buy to go up. Yeah, actually, that's a good one, because it's touched it a few times. I like that. Supposed to look at trends. There's no trend there, but there is evidence that it's holding. 1, 2, yeah. I see this as a good buy. My stop loss, obviously, will be just under this, just under this black line. That will be my stop loss. But I would buy there now. I might actually do that after this video streaming. All right, so Atom is much better than Apex. So I think that is, yeah, I like this one. I like this setup. And sure, it's got a bit of resistance, as you can see. So if I was to map this out, you can see that resistance level. So it's basically between support and resistance at the moment. And you can sort of see that was trying to go up, and that Bitcoin dropped, stuffed it up, it will probably have kept going. So now let's look at the indicators. Let me look at the 8 hour. You can see the wick is pretty much. All right, let's look at the indicators. I'm in wrong template. What am I doing? So just moving averages, is it? Okay, that's the RSI. Now I'm keeping, all right. I'll use that one. Oh, where is it? Ah, there it is, sorry. Now I got it. So the MACD's crossed over on the 8 hour, which is not good. 12 hour looks a bit better. Still downward pressure though. Even the 12 has got downward pressure daily. Yeah, there's still downward pressure on Atom. Well, the MACD's not. This, yeah, it's like shallow. It's a shallow downward pressure. So yeah, it might come down a little bit and then go up again. Because I can't see this. It's not deep. Like looking at this indicator, it's not deep downward pressure. Let's look at the 4 hour. Give me a sec. Hello? Yeah. All right. So where am I going to pick you up from? All right then. Bye. Actually, not in the time. I've got to get going as well. Sorry guys, I'll leave it at that for the time being. I've got dinner to go to, and I've got to pick up my daughter. So, and it's 4 p.m. Later this evening, probably 9 or 10 o'clock p.m. So another 5-6 hours from now, I'll come back online and do more. Maybe I'll see how I go. And anyway, that's all I got for now. Hopefully that helps you out. Maybe learn a few things from me, a few good habits, hopefully. And if there's any feedback, you're welcome. Give me feedback. I'd like to know how to improve myself, how to present it better. And thank you for joining me and supporting me. And have a good day. Good evening, guys. Bye.